Welcome back to the podcast and welcome to a brand new segment that we are titling Project Bestseller, where I'm going to give you all the weekly recaps of what exactly is going on through Project Bestseller. Now, Project Bestseller is my challenge where I am attempting to write and launch a best-selling book in 90 days or less. I am racing the clock and trying to do this before my 30th birthday. And every week, I am going to come on here and I'm going to give you a breakdown of what I did each day during that week, how long it took me, and what I am hoping to achieve by the end of the following week. So if you have not yet followed along for Project Bestseller, you can go ahead and text the word bestseller to 661-669-7363. And what you'll get is I'm going to send you daily updates on what I'm doing in live time. I'm going to text you, and then you will also have email opportunities and live Q&As to talk about your book. But let's get into it. Let's break down what happened in week one. So before I get into that though, I got to just say this has been awesome. We're literally 8 days in, and I'm going to give you a recap of the first 8 days. And it has been a wild ride. Obviously, I teach this stuff. I work with authors all the time, but to go through our updated process and to actually do all the work in real time alongside people with the pressure and the excitement, this is so much fun. This is so exciting. And we're already seeing people start writing their books. We're already seeing people get motivated to take that first step. And this is what this project, this challenge is all about. So let's break it down. What happened over the first 8 days of this challenge? Well, day number one was Sunday. All right, I was excited. I slept. I got up early. I got to bed early the night before. I got up early on Sunday because I was freaking pumped up. And my whole goal for the first day was really to do what I call the 5 must-dos before writing. And so I really got down into the dirty. I created my commitment. I signed my own commitment contract that basically stated to myself that this was a priority in my life, that this book and this challenge was something that was not going to fall by the wayside. This was going to be something that I executed on. The second thing that I did is I set my intentions around why I am writing this book. I got super clear on why I'm writing this book and what the purpose of it is. And for me, I'm writing this book because I want to show people how to write and launch their very own book. And I want to inspire people to get their stories out there, because not only does everybody have a story to tell, but we can use that story to create massive impact in the world while also generating an unbelievable business. And also, I wanted to see, can I write this book in 90 days? That's my internal intention. Once I dialed that in, I defined my book niche. So what's really cool about this is because I have a course on this, because I'm constantly talking to people, I have a coaching program on this, I was really, really clear around who the audience was for this book. Because this book, the topic of it is how to write and launch a nonfiction book. And so I was really clear. I used information from who are my best customers, what do they have in common, and I broke down not only demographics and geographical location, but also psychographics and really understanding behavior, and kind of looked at what made people so successful, what are people struggling with, and I really got deep into that person so that I could make sure that this book was as specific as possible to help you guys write a nonfiction book, to grow your business, to boost your credibility, and to have more fun in your entrepreneurial and in your business endeavors. The next thing that I did was I defined book time. And I added it to my calendar and I said, this is what I am doing. This is book time. It is on the calendar. It's non-negotiable. It's getting done. What's really interesting though about this is that I'm traveling a crazy amount right now. So I had to really put a baseline in there as my main goal. And anytime I'm available at that hour, I'm going to get it done. First thing in the morning, that's my book time. But I also had to give myself permission and grace to relax and to make sure that I got my book time done and I got it in whenever I could, whether that's on the plane, in a hotel room. I always made sure that I had grace to adjust and permission to adjust, but not to adjust and negate the habit of showing up for myself. And then I found my accountability partner. This was all done on Sunday. I found my accountability partner. I reached out to a friend from my mastermind, and I'm also using social media and this podcast as accountability because we have hundreds of people worldwide watching me do this book. And to cap it off on Sunday, I began my outlining process. So now let's talk about Monday. All right, that was just day one. I'm going to give you all the time breakdowns as well right after this, and I'm going to kind of show you the time frame that you can expect to invest on something like this. So Monday happens and I get up, I'm jacked up again. And what I started to do is I really laid out everything. Now, I use what's called the Avengers process to outlining. And I laid out my basic chapter structure. I laid out what are all the stories that I want to share. That's the Ant-Man phase. I laid out some of the testimonials I wanted to share. I laid out some of the problems that I wanted to solve. I laid out some of the frequently asked questions that I'm being asked. And I also made sure that I had what are all the things that I know that I can teach somebody about this. And so I really started to kind of pull all of this together and really just make sure I had a whole bunch of information that I can look at. And then I took all of my existing materials from my coaching program, from my coaching calls, and from what I'm already doing. And I started to go through all of that and figure out how could I structure this. And I followed my process. And that was what I did for Monday. Now, for Tuesday, I finished up my outline. I wanted to finish the majority of my outline because I was getting ready to travel on Wednesday. And I developed the outline a little bit. I started to lay out chapter by chapter. I also went back and looked at book time and said, hey, I'm going to be on the road the next 5 days. I'm going to be on a plane 2 of those days. When am I going to be able to work on my book? And so I updated my book time, kept it on the calendar so I would not miss it. And I made sure that I started saving everything to both Word and Google Docs. That way, if Word disappeared, I'd have Google Docs. And if somehow Google Docs disappeared, I would have my Word version. Or if I wasn't online, I could use it offline as well. Fast forward to Wednesday. Wednesday, I flew to Orlando. My flight was at like 5 a.m. or something. I flew to Orlando for Funnel Hacking Live, which was an unbelievable conference. I got to hear some great speakers like Brendan Burchard, Ed Milet, and a ton of other amazing people. And that day I knew I was traveling. So I just said, you know what? Let's finish the writing or the outlining. Let's polish it up. Let's get it to be locked and loaded. So I finished my outline. The outline was ready to go. And I used the rest of the day to kind of just get a few more things down, which I'll talk about. But I really made sure that I wasn't overdoing it. I knew it was a long travel day and I wanted to start the writing process fresh. I wanted writing my rough draft to be the first thing that I did. So the last few things that I did on Wednesday when I arrived to the conference is I created my writing time breakdown. This is kind of breaking down how long the book might take based on my timeline, based on my amount of chapters. And I actually give that writing time breakdown in the book. I'm actually giving that away for free so you can create your own writing time breakdown. And I set my deadline for my rough draft, which was middle end of October. So I have about 30 days to write the entire rough draft, no more. Thursday, I wake up. I'm on East Coast time now, but I wake up at 5:32 because I'm honoring my book time, which was like 2:32 West Coast time. And I just start writing. I'm like, this is it. I wrote 2,687 words on day 1 of writing. And what I really tried to stay true to was focusing on my outline. I looked at the outline. I didn't try to jump ahead. I wasn't editing as I go. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to get this out as quickly as possible. So 2,687 words later, I shut it down for the day and got ready for the conference. Now, it's something really important that I want you to recognize here is that when you write a book, your first draft is going to need work. So do not edit as you go. Do not try to make it perfect. Just focus on getting it all out there. By taking action, you build momentum, and that momentum will create opportunity. There's a time after your rough draft where you actually will go back, you'll make all your edits, you'll add, subtract, and do what you need to do to make sure the book is polished and solid. Fast forward to Friday, I get up and I write 2,192 words, bringing my total to 4,882. I reviewed my outline right when I got started writing. I always recommend you review your outline right before you start writing so that it's top of mind, you make adjustments and you execute. And I was very aware that on Friday that I was a little bit tired, but this is the game. I promised myself that I got to get this done. This is a challenge and I'm not going to let you down. I'm not going to let myself down. And so I know that there's a lot of edits, but that is not what I'm focused on right now. What I'm focused on right now is writing, executing. So now let's look at Saturday. So Saturday, I wake up. Friday night, we had a little bit of drinks. We had a little bit of fun. We were celebrating the conference. I was networking, meeting prospective clients. Saturday, I said, today is a book-free day. Look, here's something that you have to understand. When you're writing a book, it is going to be tough. It is going to be challenging. You also have to live your life. All right. I'm not going to tell you that you need to sit down and write your book for 4 hours every single day for the next 90 days to get this thing done. Heck no. We're going to have a damn good time doing it, and you're going to have opportunity to make it work with the schedule that you have. So Saturday was a book-free day. Did I think about writing? Yeah, I did. But I said, you know what? Today's a book-free day. Let me be present. Let me be at the conference. Let me soak it up. Let me network. Let me do my things. Because I don't have a schedule where I could just sit down and write all day long. I got an hour a day on average to get my shit done. And so Saturday was a book-free day. Now I'm going to fast forward here to Sunday and kind of break down what happened on Sunday. So Sunday, I have a early flight from Orlando back to LA, and I thought I might take the day off, but if inspiration struck on the airplane, I would just get to work. And so I get there, I get in my middle seat, which, by the way, this is crazy. So I normally am in aisle. If I was flying on Delta, I'm normally in aisle. That's my preference. But I got an upgrade, which doesn't happen very often. I get an upgrade to Comfort Plus, and instead of being on an aisle in Comfort Plus, I'm now in the middle in Comfort Plus. So I was going back and forth. Do I want the aisle in economy, or do I want the middle seat on Comfort Plus? Because I knew if I was going to type, I didn't want to be all crammed in the middle. But I took the Comfort Plus seat, and by the way, great snacks. Wildly surprised, pleasantly surprised, and really incredibly grateful. So now here I am. I'm on the airplane, and I am in the middle seat. I'm in the middle seat, and I'm not able to sleep. The person next to me is on my armrest, so I'm now like, imagine a dinosaur with his little hands, his tiny hands. I'm like a little T-Rex out there trying to move and type and stuff, and I pull up my computer. I'm like, let's go. I'm fired up. Let's make this thing happen. So I start typing, and I'm typing on my book. I'm sitting in the middle seat. And I want you to imagine just somebody super crunched up, crouched up. My typing speed was much, much slower that day, but I end up crushing it for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I just got in the flow state. I was able to channel everything else around me, and I just executed, and it felt really good. Then I took some time to breathe. I watched a little TV, and I ended up landing back at home. Now, Sunday, I knew that I had some stuff in the evening, but I was just relaxing. I was relaxing with my girlfriend. We were hanging out. Because of the time change, I had a lot more time in that day before we had to get ready for our evening event. And I was sitting on my couch, and I was just feeling inspired. So I pulled out the computer again and just banged out another couple of minutes. And I ended up Sunday writing 4,731 words, bringing my total up to 9,613 words. So by the end of week one, okay, by the first 8 days, we were able to get started on the book, outline the entire book, and write the first 9,613 words. And I want to share with you now the time. Okay, I want to share with you now how long this actually took me to do, because a lot of people are like, oh, Jake, you probably spent all your time doing this. Well, I'm going to show you that you can do this much faster than you think, because we have the process, right? I follow the same process that I teach my clients. And I want to make sure that what I teach them really works, not just for them, but it works for me as well. I'm walking the walk here. And this is the process. Now, I'll throw a caveat out there. I teach this all the time. I've written 3 books. I'm very aware that I have done this thing before, and I know what's on the other side. If this is your first book and you're like, oh, well, Jake, you've done this before. You're so much faster. You know how to do this. You're not wrong, but you're also, I've never done it this fast. I've never had this much discipline. I've never tracked it. I've never done it in front of all you guys. And so I really want you to understand that you can do this. All right, we have clients that release their book in 4 months, best-selling books in 4 months, from ideas to launch. Okay, while I'm recording this, we just had a client who started and launched her book in less than 5 months and became a bestseller. You can do this. We have people that finish their rough draft in 27, 29, 34 days, okay? And so I want to share with you the time. And so here's how much time I've invested. Sunday, opening day, I was fired up. I did about 79 minutes. I had 89 minutes. 10 minutes of that was a break time in between, and I had 79 minutes of working time. Monday, I did 50 minutes. Tuesday, 55 minutes. Wednesday, 35 minutes. Thursday, 65 minutes. Friday, 70 minutes. Saturday, 0 minutes. Book-free day, baby. And Sunday, I ended up working for 155 minutes. Okay, that was between my flight and a burst of inspiration. So To add that all up, the total time that I spent is 519 minutes, which if my math is correct, I'm gonna do this super quickly. I love my math. That would be 8 hours, 480 minutes. That would be 8 hours and 39 minutes. I believe that math is correct. So I've spent 8 hours and 39 minutes over the first 8 days, which averages out to be about 65 minutes per day from day 1 to day 8. What could you do with an hour a day on your book? That's it. An hour a day, an average of 65 minutes per day. And in 8 days, I have 9,613 words of my book done, my first draft of the book. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be finalized, but I'm dialing it in. So now let's talk about the plan upcoming here. Now that I'm starting my rough draft and I'm well underway, my only focus is to finish my rough draft. I am not concerned about anything else at this point. I'm not editing my book. I am not doing anything other than that. I'm not worried about my marketing strategies yet. My entire focus is to spend the limited time that I have to execute on this. As I get ready for this, I'm speaking in North Carolina where I'm keynoting an event. I'm speaking the following weekend as well. I have Yom Kippur coming up. There are all these different things that are coming up. I have a business to run. I have coaching calls. Every day that I'm in town, I am booked solid. And so I'm saying this because I want you to know that you could do this. You really can do this. And so this upcoming week, the only thing I'm focusing on is my rough draft. And my goal is to get as far as I possibly can on my rough draft, while also making sure that I check my pace to make sure I'm on pace for what I need to do. And also to make sure that I'm having fun, that I'm still living my life, that my head is not on a computer 12 hours a day typing this out, but rather I'm typing, the sun comes out, I'm going on a walk with my girlfriend, I'm exploring downtown of the location that I'm in for my keynote. This is what the book's all about. And so as we recap today, I just want to say that you can do this. You can write a book. There are hundreds of people around the world who are doing this with me as I'm doing it. Some are watching to see the process. Some are actually doing it, and they're sending me their updates along with my updates. If you've ever wanted to write a book, you can do it. I'm sharing the exact process of what it takes. So if you want to follow along though and catch up and get on daily updates and come to our live Q&As where I'll answer questions about your book process, then text the word bestseller to 661-669-7363. Again, text the word bestseller to 661-669-7363. And when you go ahead and text us, what will happen is that I will then be able to send you my daily updates, and you'll be able to follow along or join in for the rest of Project Bestseller. This is my challenge where I'm attempting to write and launch a best-selling book in 90 days or less before my 30th birthday. So I hope that you enjoyed the first recap. I hope you saw the different layers that I did, the let's get started phase, the outlining phase in the beginning of my rough draft. I'm so excited for the rest of this. I'm so thankful for all of your support and for you listening to this and being a part of this journey. And I hope that you will come and join us on this journey and be part of this team as we move forward. So with that said, it's back to writing. It's back to executing. We got another great week ahead of ourselves, and I will see you next time.